You are now entering the spoiler zone. The following podcast contains explicit plot details and pockets of profanity. You have been warned. The Exton Moss Experiment. Adventures in Wine and Space with Simon Exton and Ken Moss. Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another edition of the Exton Moss Experiment. I'm Ken Moss.
I'm Simon Exton.
And this time we are joined by the delightful fellows from the Peggy Mount Calamity Hour. Gentlemen, reveal yourselves.
So early in the proceedings. Hello, are you all right?
We are indeed.
Good evening. I was Alfred Hitchcock for a moment there. I was channeling him. Good evening, Dr. Velvet from the Peggy Mount Calamity Hour.
And my name is Blackout.
Gents, as ever, welcome aboard. It is our pleasure to have you back. I'm not sure it's a pleasure to comment on what we're about to comment on, because it's the 1989 television movie, Murder by Moonlight. After a nuclear war on Earth, the Soviet Union and the US both establish outposts on the Moon. When a murder occurs at the outpost in 2015, both US and Soviet investigators are forced to work on the case together. It sounds way more interesting than it is. I think we're really going to need a fucking big drink for this. Gentlemen, I'm not waving the tonic screwdriver because we've all got different drinks tonight and I don't know whether any of them are gin. But I'm going to kick us off. I've been saving this one, and purely by chance, it is Siren, Broken Dream. It's a 6.5% ale, and the infobolic says, breakfast stout, an indulgence of coffee, chocolate and specialty malts. Broken Dream is smooth, unctuous and moreish. Yes, well, I'll be the judge of that. Oh my God.
It sounds all right.
You know, that would sell it to me.
Do you remember how dock water used to look, that sort of oily soup?
Okay, the writing on the can would sell it to me. Maybe once I'd opened it.
Hell. It tastes like it's come out of a dredging scow. Next. What are you on, gents?
Ouch.
Blackout, what are you drinking?
I am on the gin. I'm drinking From the Pit by the Langdon Dean Distillery in County Durham.
You're not using a glass?
There's not too much info in the way of infobolics on the side, but it says here, don't be fooled by the crystal clarity. This triple distilled gin is coven crafted from secret rituals in the darkest part of pit country. Baobab and frankincense conspire with notes of dragon eye and maybe a hint of hemlock, mixed with vermouth or classic tonic over lashings of ice to chill your northern soul. But you know what? It's 50% alcohol, so yeah.
Fucking
And it's...
There you go.
I've mixed it with the tonic. Gin is not my area of expertise.
Liar.
But it tastes a bit like hairspray. What do I know?
Yeah.
I mean, Baobab is not a traditionally English flavour.
Well, you know, I didn't make it. It's just what it is.
Where did you say in County Durham that's made?
The Langdon Dean Distillery.
Langdon Dean. Okay, nice. Sorry, I'm just taking a sip of my my little drink here. It's called Lytton's Dairy. It's a milk stout from the De Vere Brewery in Glover St Figgis. And quite frankly, it tastes like egg with foam. There's an Advocar hanging with that with a bit of pepper. Yeah. It says on the can, guaranteed to bowls you over. But yeah, anyway, there we go. Simon, what are you having?
Well, I've actually got something nice, so you can all be jealous. I've got Hendrick's Midsummer Solstice Gin with tonic.
It's nice.
And it's lovely.
Nice, that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably mixed it a lot stronger than the lovely people at Hendrick's would like me to, but, you know, bugger it, it's the way I like
Half
it.
and half, that's the way.
Yeah, half and half. That's where you use more bottles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's eco-friendly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Any excuse.
Well, grab your glasses, gentlemen. We'll descend into the under gallery here at Podcasting House and open up one of the doors. And it's guest time. Dr. Velvet, which door would you like to open?
For me, the Imaginarium.
What are you conjuring for us this time?
You see, I like me comedy, and I like me sci-fi, and a lot of people think the two don't go together. Well, of course, we had Red Dwarf to prove us wrong with that. I'm thinking IG-88 and Shirley, yeah? A follow-up to the popular 70s Happy Days spin-off Laverne and Shirley, produced after Penny Marshall, Laverne, left the show. Cindy Williams remains, and they tried to jump on the sci-fi bandwagon of the time. Producers thought to themselves it may be astute to team her up with IG-88, a rogue Class 4 assassin droid from the Star Wars universe. This was to be short-lived, however, during the droid's first appearance on set, where the heat from the lights triggered the infrared control, and he blew the head off two runners and assistant director while shouting, "Who loves your baby?" So, unfortunately, that was not to be. But there we are. Yeah, that's me. I'd like to see that.
Is an absolute fucking liability.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Well, I'm going to pluck something out of the Imaginarium myself. That sounds wonderful. Mine is a little less imagined. It's more a continuation. It would be another series of Police Squad. Are you familiar with this?
Really?
Well, I am. I've got news for you as well. They're rebooting it.
No, they can't.
Continuation, not reboot. That's,
No, that's fine. You're right. They can't. Anyway, let me hear your...
Well, Police Squad was a bit of a troubled production. I mean, the writers were sort of hired and fired. It was just a nightmare. The original production crew, or the networks, wanted them to make a film out of it. They were insistent they wanted to make a series. It was wildly successful when it was broadcast, but for whatever reason, the reasons which have never been got to the bottom of, it wasn't renewed after the first series. It was scheduled at the worst possible time, and yet it's gained this massive cult following. And there were a series of beer adverts in the early 90s with the same cast, and they were fucking marvellous. And they are available on the Tube.
I remember those. Yeah.
They're really, really well done. Every now and again you'll get a character plopped into something else and it doesn't really work. These adverts work. They are like mini episodes of Police Squad and they're brilliant. So yeah, I think it's just a terrible shame. We got the Naked Gun movies out of it, of course, but the visual gags in Police Squad were bob on. And Leslie Nielsen, yeah, the perfect casting. So yes, but no, tell me more about this reboot.
Just saw this whiz past my eyes when I was scrolling. Apparently it's happening, yes. They're looking into casting now, but there's big interest in reviving the franchise. So there you go. Just wait with bated breath, I guess.
Oh, please don't. That'll be a disaster.
Yes, of course it will. Of course it will. That would be on a par with Steve Martin as Clouseau, yeah? Which should never, ever have been dedicated to celluloid. Absolute travesty. But there we are, yeah. It's the times we live in, gentlemen.
I've got one that's sort of Imaginarium, sort of gift shop, sort of black archive.
Of course you have.
Wants it all, him.
So, in 1985, Lucasfilm created the Droids cartoon as an animated prequel to the original Star Wars trilogy. Aired on ABC in the States, and 3 years later we got it on Children's BBC in the UK. Now, there were 13 regular episodes, plus an extended special, which we've covered on the Peggy Mount Calamity Hour, peggymountpod.com. It's really not that great. I still love it. Now, the 9th episode was titled Kobe and the Star Hunters. This was aired on Children's BBC, 7th of March 1988, but when Droids was released on VHS across 3 volumes, this particular episode was nowhere to be seen. Now, the first and the third story arcs consist of 4 eps, but Kobe and the Star Hunters is the 5th instalment of the second arc, which means that CBS Fox would have had to manufacture longer tapes for 1/3 of their production run They were not interested in the logistics of that, so it didn't go anywhere. Now, I've got the UK VHS releases of Droids. I've got the US ones. I've also got them in German and Italian. Yes, those ones are dubbed. Kobe and the Star Hunters is not on a single one. Now, the 2005 DVD release only covered 8 episodes. That wasn't one of them. It's not lost, by the way. It's on Disney Plus right now. That's not the point. I want physical media. So I would like Kobe and the Star Hunters released on VHS, please, as nature intended.
I remember Droids. Well, I remember the first episode of Droids vividly, because I taped that.
Because you didn't watch any more?
I didn't watch it. I wasn't really struck. I didn't mind the Ewoks cartoon, but Droids never really bit.
Yeah, you and everybody else. Me neither. At the time, I was not bothered by it. It's just now as a sort of like a retro piece. I'm like, yeah, this is. I get this.
But yes, excellent choice. Dr. Exton, where are you taking us?
Nowhere. I'm staying in the Imaginarium.
What have you got for us?
Well, it is quite a travesty, as I'm sure you'll agree, that one of the classics of 60s sci-fi television never had a full series and stalled at just 4 episodes. So I would like a full 26-episode series of The Corridor People.
He's finally snapped. He's finally snapped.
That would bring me joy.
This fucking thing yet?
No. All we have is your review of this to work on. We will see this.
It's utterly joyous.
It is on the plan. Yeah. Well, it must be if you want to watch 26 episodes of it.
Well, I have 4 episodes to watch, and I watch 3 of them over and over and over again.
Yeah, okay.
So here we are, back in the viewing room, queued up in massive recliner chairs, IMAX, sound that would blow your dentures out. It's time, without any further ado, for the glorious spectacle, the magical, marvellous Murder by Moonlight. Run, VT.
In the not-too-distant future, in a place not so far from Earth, a murder has been committed.
In less than 2 hours, this place is going to be crawling with Russians.
I know that. They're going to bring in their cops. I'll bring in our cops.
It is here that a Russian agent...
The murderer will be tried by a Soviet court. No one will be allowed to leave this facility until this investigation is completed.
...and a U.S. cop.
They've asked for help with a dead citizen, and you're it.
You have no jurisdiction here.
...must work together.
I've been observing your Russian. What's he like? He's got the instincts of a piranha and the teeth.
...to catch a killer.
Anybody inside? We don't know!
This was no accident. The bolts in the compression valve were cut.
What the hell's going on here?
We can assume that every room in this facility has been monitored, and everything we have said or done has been observed.
Now, 2 lovers must sacrifice everything.
It's been 10 years since we almost nuked each other. Don't you think it's time we stop tiptoeing around?
It's the tiptoeing around that's kept us all alive. Don't let this thing get out of hand.
To save the world.
I want to know what's going on here, and I want to know it now.
Brigitte Nielsen, Julian Sands. Murder by Moonlight.
I can't speak. It's over to you.
Well, that was a thing.
It was a thing, wasn't it? That did happen, didn't it?
Yes.
Before we go anywhere, why has this got 2 titles?
Yes. Murder on the Moon.
Perhaps it went into the witness protection program.
Possibly.
Okay. Well, we found it, so that didn't work.
This thing actually is very, very slightly ahead of its time, because it was made in 1989, but it stinks of the 90s.
Yeah, 1991.
That's a good point. I'll give you that.
Even the opening titles and credits are all in that futuristic letter set. I can't remember the name of the font. I'm sure one of you...
Dita 70.
I was waiting for you to dive in there.
Yeah, there we go.
Can I just say, I loved the title music to this. I loved it. Not particularly original in any way, but my word, the composer understood the brief. Good Lord. The visuals actually are reminiscent of Space 1999. That's all I could get in my head.
Well, I've actually got a cross between Star Cops and Red Dwarf, but I will go with that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Except that when you're watching Red Dwarf, you're supposed to be laughing.
Yes. You're supposed to be, but not after season 6. Anyway, yeah.
Visually, and I stress visually, it had bits of Total Recall about it as well.
Yes, I see where you would get that from.
If it was Total Recall and all of the lights had been left on at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, I see where this is going. So we're getting all the positive stuff out of the way first, then we can slag it off for 90 minutes. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this much. The sets for the time are quite nice. Looking on IMDb, the estimated budget for this film is £3.5 million. Bullshit.
Really?
That was spent on the title sequence.
Nah, someone got a hefty backender for that, I think.
That was spent on the writer's cocaine.
Yeah, this looks cheap.
Speaking of cheap, Bridget Nielsen. She's like Max Headroom, but with Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice. The only reason that woman was hired was for her tits.
You know what? Yes.
She's been trained at the Balsawood School of Acting.
Right, let me get one of my few positive bits out of the way here. I didn't mind her too much in this. I thought she was better than I thought she was going to be. By no means great, but I put a lot of that down to appalling direction. Everyone is just allowed to come in and read their lines, deliver them as if they're seeing them for the first time. When she relaxes into the role, it's not too bad.
Oh, mate, she stank. There's one particular line. I don't actually know what it was spat back as some sort of pithy comeback. La plume de ma tante, près de la chaise de ma tante, sur le table.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Again, you've got to figure that's deliberate.
I think it's a little unfair to single her out for bad direction. Because...
Oh, no, agreed. No, it was everyone. This is across the entire production. And the editing, all of the little pithy little comebacks don't work because it's been edited by someone who's watching Coronation Street on the next screen.
They insist on having a 20-second pause between each line of dialogue. That's one thing I did notice in this. It's like treacle. This is glacial, it just... Oh, it drags on. And the silences.
But this is why it's a 50-minute television piece that manages to run for an hour and a half.
Yes.
An hour and 40. An hour and 40. Let's not cut it short by 10 minutes. This felt every second of those 100 minutes.
And it
there
has
was a
such a good
pause between
cast.
each syllable. Never mind between each line. Given the cast of this thing, though, it wasn't actually... There were some big hitters in here. The great Brian Cox.
Yes, including the man with the obscene moustache, who's clearly cosplaying the French author Guy de Maupassant. In that little bit where he first appears, he literally waits and uses the door opening as a cue for his line.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
It's because I was going to say the director's told him that would be cut out. The director hasn't told him anything. The director's sitting in the corner reading the paper.
Reading the Sunday Post. He's reading the Bruins. That's what he's reading.
Now, this is not specifically a dig at Murder on the Moon, because what I'm about to mention is everywhere, right? But in the opening sequence, they're doing that classic thing of having everybody in zero gravity moving in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sure, the body, when we see the murdered body falling down the mine shaft, that would fall more slowly than it would on Earth. But in terms of people walking around, there's nothing to cause this to happen. Now, from what I can tell, this started with Kubrick's 2001. That was released in 1968. So when they'd made that, no one had walked on the moon yet. No one had any actual hard reference material as to what it would be like. So Kubrick's made the movement slow in the zero-G sequences to make it more languid, to give it an otherworldly feel. But there is nothing to slow you down in zero gravity. Sort of the opposite, if anything. Moving, it's awkward, but it's not slow. It's a problem here, because like everything else, it just looks cheap. You've got a guy walking along in hyper slow motion, and then like a pen falls out of his pocket at normal speed.
Yes.
Well, this is where Dr. Exon's going to roll his eyes so hard he puts himself into a coma, but it doesn't help that it's not done on film. I'll park that there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, I don't know how much budget you think there is, but
For £3.5 million, I thought they could probably afford film.
Is it established in this how they have the technology to create one-to-one gravity inside the moon base when the entire installation looks like it's been made from painted plywood?
Well, that's because Bridget Nielsen's tits are creating their own orbit. It did, when she got out of the spacesuit in the opening shot, a gratuitous corset shot, she's been to a cocktail party on Europa. Now, her nipples must have been like bullets, because Europa is about 400 degrees below. So
when that scene happened, I howled. Literally howled out laughing. That was beautifully ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to think that was intentional.
Well...
And if only it had stayed that slightly weird right the way through, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Well, especially in that scene, there's supposed to be this sort of saucy saxophone soundtrack backing it, but again, due to the budget, we get music supervisor Trevor Jones just hammering away on a Bontempi 424. That'll do.
Yeah.
Fair play to all the men in this, that throughout the entire shoot on camera, every single one of them, their eyes were locked onto her face. Absolutely rigidly locked. Not a single one of them dared blink for fear that they would wander downwards to her chest.
Is that where the money went on the retakes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The problem is that all of them, you don't give a shit about any single character. So,
one
spoiler coming up, later in this glorious movie, when two characters shag, one of them's Bridget Nielsen, would you believe? You don't give a shit. Two characters have got a romance going on. They're both awful characters in an awful sex scene. I cringed
myself inside out when that happened. Again, the neighbours thought I was being attacked.
Yes. Yes. I had to do what I've done on many an occasion when I'm watching something like that. I peel myself and crawl into a bag of salt. It's the only way to get through it. Fucking horrible. We have omitted the fact that Celia Imrie's here, so I'll tell you what, she'll sort it all out. Celia. We like Celia.
Yep, we do.
She's one of the best things in this.
There is a really good support cast in this. It's amazing it's so shit when they've got such good people in it.
Mm-hmm. This is it. You said yourself, there's some fantastic names in this, and they've all been great in other things. But Bridget Nielsen and David Yip's American accents are really wobbly. Julian Sands and Brian Cox cannot do a Russian accent, and the two actual Russian actors that they've got on set have next to no dialogue. I noticed that the casting director for this has escaped being named in the credits.
He's just escaped.
Well...
to another continent.
Well, shortly after Bridget Nielsen turns up in her underwear, Fenric and Sidney Newman, they turn up from the Russian side, and there's a huge expositional scene with a lot of model work. Now, it makes the play school sandpit look like Dune. It's terrible. But I also notice, now whether this was me or not, I don't know, but there were a few Hitchhiker's Guide-esque drop-ins there. The onboard computer, which did very much like Eddie from Hitchhiker's Guide, minus the ticker tape, was called Uncle fucking Albert. What the hell?
Yeah.
I know. Beep, 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 beep. During the war. Yeah.
I love how at the end of every 90-second burst of exposition that the computer gives, it slips in a little bit of sarcasm.
And that's all that computer's there for. It is the exposition machine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just an obvious, ridiculously obvious way of just giving us reams of exposition while the characters just stand around and watch it. It's not even delivered in an interesting way. Give us a flashback, give us some hologram images, give us something.
Well, thankfully, it's
awful.
Got, just in case you weren't sure what this big fucking thing is, it's got onboard computer stenciled on it.
Yes. Oh, God, yes.
Yes.
I do like when Kurylenko, Julian Sands, is on his little sandcrawler thing, and he's been given, again, the 90-second spiel on Bartok. He's a Russian operative in a Russian transport, reading his Russian computer, and it's narrating to him in English.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm not saying the rest of it's believable, but still.
But then, to rub salt in the wound, the Russians and Americans get together and have their little expositional argument in the B-arc. So already you're lumping your useless third of the investigative population on set. We already know how useless they are before they even open the traps. It's remarkably unaware.
It is completely, it is. And the little bits of, this is a pet hate of mine. Vocal delivery. Drawl and vocal fry. There is so much of that in this. It's as distracting as Nielsen's Impossible Waistline. It's awful. I hate vocal fry. I hate the croaky. I hate that. And there's so much of it in this. No. Sorry. Yeah, I had to get that out.
Well, I don't think it helps that all the Russian accents are straight out of Wook's Apocalypse.
Yes.
At one point, Kulienko, Julian Sands, sounds like his characters from Gateshead.
Yeah, he sounds like he was the caretaker for Biker Grove. Absolutely.
It's supposed to be US and American, and yet it's painfully English. And so you can't get invested in either side.
Do we know where this was made, where it was actually shot?
I'm sure IMDb can help us out at this point. I notice with interest there's no Wikipedia page for this.
Yeah, I sort of struggled looking it up a bit. I can see that it aired on ITV, of all channels, on a Saturday night.
God, can you imagine?
Can you imagine that? Plus adverts. Jesus.
Oh my God.
You would be praying for the adverts, wouldn't you?
I remember watching it at the time.
Do you really?
Yes, and not thinking it was terrible. I've been crediting this with being an awful lot better than it actually is, because I think a big chunk of the stuff that I remember from this, I'm actually remembering from The Last of Sheila.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
You have the drop on us, sir.
Last of Sheila, it's a classic murder mystery.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm seeing any redeeming qualities with this thing. I really wanted to like it, but this thing, it hums. It's the mackerel skin that you've left on the plate for the night before. It's horrible.
I agree.
I was just about to start a really, I say a small nitpick. It's not a huge nitpick, but carry on if you got something more smooth than that.
No, I was just going to mention Celia Imrie's American accent. Marks out of 10?
Decent. She's doing it all right.
It's not bad, is it? Yeah, it's all
right. But
right.
Again, she's turned up and is doing that. She's been given no help by anyone else on set.
No. The other woman that we see, first of all, I can't remember the character's name. Is it Louise? Character's name. I think it's Louise Mackay or something.
Hang on, I've got that.
Yes.
Jane Laportaire.
Yeah. I was going to say, she has very interesting hair. She looks a bit like Margot Kidder.
Oh, I can see where you're going with that, yes.
Yeah.
But given the revelation later in the story, I can see why they've made her up that way.
Yeah, indeed.
This really is going to be a very bad elephant in the room when we shoot this one for its ivory. We'll move slightly.
True.
Let's dodge that bullet for the time being.
Is she the one that has the bob cut that looks as though it's been taken off a Lego figure?
That's the one. It's a little bit like Ziona from the penultimate episode of Blake 7, but with a brunette rinse. It's kind of cut like that, yeah, but niche reference there. Sorry, folks.
Well, speaking of accents and other women in this, we have Georgina Hale. Now, she's always had one of the strangest accents that's ever been shat out into the world. And getting her to do a halfway cross between Russian and American levels out the weirdness. It's as normal as I've ever heard her talk.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not the worst thing in this, is it? It's passable by how... It's passable by how unremarkable it is compared to what else is going on.
This is a really good cast. How can it be this shit?
Oh, so we got this scene where Celia Imrie is talking to Bridget Nielsen. They're in this room having a bit of like a heart-to-heart, bit of a confessional. And we see this mysterious figure outside who comes along with a blowtorch, cuts off 4 bolts, and opens this hatch that's on the exterior wall. And basically the idea is to kill whoever's in the room by sucking them out into the vacuum of the surface of the moon. So this hatch pops open. There is this howling gale and 2 characters clinging onto anything that's bolted down as the atmosphere is sucked out over 82 seconds. I've timed this, 82 seconds. But those 2, they're in a sealed room because the decompression isn't affecting the corridor outside. So surely after all the air is instantaneously sucked out through a 2-foot hole in the wall, what is causing the through flow of air which keeps them off the floor? If they're not pulled out in the initial surge, they'll just suffocate a couple of seconds later when everything calms down, surely.
Yeah. It's all right. a table saved the day.
You know.
But that's a criticism of pretty much every space opera that's ever been made, so it's not specific to this one.
I know, but 82
seconds
it's a bit
is
like the slow
motion,
excessive.
But, you know.
It might have been Bridget
seems to go on for
Nielsen's
far too
lacquer reacting with the atmosphere of the moon.
Imagine if the blowtorch had hit that, the whole place would have gone up.
The guy who actually was with the blowtorch when he's walking towards his target, that supposed moonwalk, just like he's got the diarrhea and the rickets at the same time. Poor bugger. What the hell was that? Act like you're on the moon. What? They should have put a cactus in his knickers. You would have got a better result. God almighty.
And I love how outraged all the characters are at finding this hidden camera that's the size of a house brick.
Yes.
As if a government installation wouldn't have every room filled with cameras just in plain sight.
Oh, there's just so much with this. There's that little scene, I can't remember, when Julian Sands and Bridget Nielsen, they find themselves together in a room. She taps 3 keys and then she says, I think I'll take a break. Here, lazy, idle.
Yep. She hasn't even warmed the seat up and she's off.
Yeah, your arse hasn't even been on the seat. Get to fucking work. Crack on. Get some graft done.
Would you like a nice bit of trivia about Julian Sands at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
In order to prepare for the role and simulate how uncomfortable it would be to live life on a lunar base, Julian Sands, who's allergic to seafood, ate nothing but crab meat for the entire shoot. Don't think you needed that to feel uncomfortable on this particular job.
Well, exactly. That
Good
probably explains in the what we'll gently term the love scene between Sands and Nielsen. It probably explains Bridget Nielsen's reaction to most of it, where all she can smell is crab meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's basically got to lick him, and she's just been sick in her own mouth.
Yes. Vile.
That's a particularly bad sex scene.
Oh,
It's horrific.
Even the build-up to it is that it's a collection of the worst flirtation lines between characters since Blind Date, circa 1984. It's fucking awful.
The script was written by the ship's computer.
The script was written by fuck all. The script was written by a vape.
Right, come on, let's name and shame. Who actually wrote this thing?
Nobody will admit this. Nobody will admit this.
It was written by somebody called Carla Jean Wagner. She had a total of 8 credits to her name, only 3 of which came after this, and she wouldn't have a credit again until 1995 with the excitingly titled Where's the Money, Noreen?
There we go. My notes just say Carla Jean Wagner, 8 productions, nothing of note. Including this.
I'd like to go to the bar that's on this base, though. You get handed a bottle of scotch for fuck all.
Oh, in a plastic bottle. Mm.
Yeah, providing you don't mind it in like a plastic bottle that still tastes of the orange squash it had in it before.
I could live with that.
Or if they give you the wrong bottle, you get a bottle full of estrogen.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah?
apparently so.
Yes. Yeah, apparently, yeah. Good God. All the acting prowess of a corporate training video about improving interdepartmental relationships. That's this film.
I like how we're about an hour in before they pick up a couple of blaster rifles and you think, oh, cool, are we going to get a laser shootout? Nope.
No.
There'll be 2 shots let off at the end. That's it. We're not made of money.
Yeah.
God, this thing. It did go on and on.
No.
It went on and on and on.
Just like the sex scene. That was prolonged. Less basic instincts, more basic rules of filmmaking forgotten.
I was peeling the skin off my arms wanting it to end.
Well, they don't actually take their
fact that
clothes
you
off,
were
do
there.
they?
They've left the onset mic running and still in the mix, so you can hear every slop and clack of them naked on, and
You can.
It's excruciating.
Yeah, it is. It's vile. No, I think they do take their clothes. I'm sure she's bare-arsed at one point. I'm sure the Moonlight's by Jock, it's a full moon tonight, I'm telling you. Yeah.
No, I'd wandered off for a Valium at that point.
So as we approach the closest thing that this entire production has got to a plot, they're sitting in a room, they're doing the barest arse bit of research you've ever seen, and they work out, right, the person we're after is 5'9", but they've disguised themselves completely. So this photo we're looking at on the screen, this dude here, it's not going to look like that. So you're like, okay, right. Now, even Kulienko acknowledges that, they can change their appearance, but they can't change their height. And then it turns out that this character, no spoilers yet, but it turns out that when we see this character, is shown to be at least 6 inches shorter than Bridget Nielsen, who is famously 6 foot tall. The casting director of this has a lot to fucking answer for. Oddly enough, Julian Sands is 5'9". So maybe Kurylenko did it after all, and he was just framing the first social minority he could lay his hands on. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Maybe. We'll get there. We'll get there. On another casting note, did you notice who was behind the bar? Did you notice the actress behind the bar? So, Blackout, when we reviewed Teabag's Christmas, it's Teabag.
It is, yes. It's one of two direct links with our very own matron. You know what we've skipped past? Oh, God, we've skipped straight past the other one. In the opening minutes of this, of course, we see Mr. Rico Ross, who was, of course, the showman in The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. With, again, one of the worst examples of rapping ever to appear on television. Again, it's worth noting that Rico Ross did this in 89. I think it was a year earlier. He did Greatest Show in the Galaxy. It was only in 1986 that he was in Aliens. Actual James Cameron, actual Aliens. He must have thought, my star is rising here. I can do anything with sci-fi and it'll be fantastic. Right, okay, Rico.
And then after this, he was in The Tomorrow People.
There we go.
and saved it a bit by being in Babylon 5.
Okay.
And then had a brief moment handing things to Judith Hahn on Tomorrow's World. But off camera.
Would you like to go through alumni at this point?
Why the hell not? Let's spoil the magic.
It's going to be a long list. Even I was spotting them.
Get your lists out.
Right, so there's actually quite a lot of Doctor Who alumni in this. So Celia Imrie was Miss Kislet in The Snowman, but was in a fuck ton of other stuff. Nightmare Man, Class Act, was one of the regular ensemble from Victoria Wood, and was in Ab Fab the movie and Mamma Mia 2.
Mm-hmm. She was in a lot of Ab Fab. She was Claudia Bing.
David Yip was Veldon in Destiny of the Daleks, and was in Chinese Detective and Quatermass Conclusion, and has recently turned up on Pennyworth.
Oh, okay. I don't watch that, but I'm glad he's still acting.
Oh, Pennyworth's quite fun. Stephen Jen was Sekka in The Nightmare of Eden. Georgina Hale was Daisy Kay in The Happiness Patrol, and turned up in loads of other stuff like Budgie and Virgin of the Secret Service, which is an awful lot of fun if you haven't seen it, and in the absolutely wonderful Preaching to the Perverted. Thomas Borkeley was Captain Sorin in The Curse of Fenric, and also turned up in Mr. Palfrey of Westminster and not a great deal else. Rocky Taylor was a guard in The Curse of Peladon, Egyptian warrior in The Dalek Master Plan, a stuntman in The Idiot's Lantern, and a fuckload of ITC stuff. So Brigitte Nielsen was best known as Red Sonja and not an awful lot else. Julian Sands was Q in the radio James Bond series and turns up in loads of stuff like Crooked House, Man in an Orange Shirt, Box of Delights, and he's not terribly good in any of them. Jane Laportaire was Callan, Rivals of Sherlock Holmes. She turns up in the 1968 Sherlock Holmes and Jason King. Brian Cox was Adventure in Space and Time, and also turned up in Year of the Sex Olympics, Good Omens, Doomwatch, and millions of other things. Alfonsia Emmanuel was House of Cards, Lovejoy, and The Demon Headmaster. And Michael Shannon was JFK in Red Dwarf and in A Very Peculiar Practice. Oh, sorry. Stuart Milligan was President Richard Nixon in The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. Also turned up in Doctor Who Dreamland, Jonathan Creek, and Secret Army. So it's a really good cast that they do fuck all with.
You know, you've got to think, for what they've done, just like leading up to this, there's got to be some great conversations sitting around on set about their previous jobs. It would be more interesting just to watch them having those conversations than it would to watch this.
Yes, it really would. In the bar where you get handed a bottle of whiskey each.
Just for going, give me my whiskey.
Yes. It's amazing, that.
When Vonarov, Brian Cox, see, I've learned the names. When he comes in and visits Kurylenko, they're sitting in that room together. Why are they speaking in English? It really fucking bugs me. You're like, just teach them the Russian phonetically and subtitle it. Just give them 3 lines each. Make them earn their money, please.
Or was it because they knew that they'd be being observed and everything that they were saying was what they wanted the Americans to hear?
I don't think it goes that deep, in all honesty, because no one in this has got a fucking clue what's going on. Not the characters, not the cast, certainly not the director.
Certainly not the viewer.
Are we ready for the big reveal yet?
Go for it. It can't get any worse.
Knock yourself out.
No, one of you two gentlemen needs to reveal the cack-handedness of this plot. I can't do it.
Oh, fuck it. I'll take the hit. Right, it's revealed at the end that the murderer, in order to disguise that he's a murderer, has transitioned. He's made himself into a woman, which, for reasons which I could not fathom, because by this point my brain was in neutral, how does this absolve you from being a murder suspect?
Oh, no, it absolutely doesn't. That was just like some manner of... I don't exactly... I think they sort of did that to get away from some, like, war crimes or whatever. I still don't know why the initial murder at the start of all of it took place, only that we get an hour and 20 minutes in, and I'm sitting thinking, hang on a minute, we've gone the full Ace Ventura. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
The initial murder was because the victim had worked out who the perpetrator was and the fact that they were the one behind the terrorist bombing that had started World War III.
Okay, fair play.
Thanks for that, Dr. Exton. It means no one else ever needs to watch this again.
A mastermind terrorist and just shit at carrying out one murder. Brilliant.
Well, seeing as the entire world knew who this person was as a terrorist, they weren't terribly good at covering that up either.
Yeah, you know. Credit where it's due to the, what we'll call a script here. Once the character of Mackie is revealed as trans, the script doesn't misgender her. The character is still always referred to as she.
Oh, no, it does once.
Fucking hell.
Brian Cox does.
Well, there's a bit where, when they're in the airlock, Bartok refers to Vogler and says Vogler is a he. Are we basically just saying that all the evil Russians are transphobic now then? See, that's going to get taken out of context and just posted online somewhere else, isn't it? Look what they said on this podcast. All the evil Russians are transphobic.
By this point, unfortunately, my default setting for my brain when it gets bored is to start playing the Magic Roundabout theme. And it has been doing this for quite a while by this point. So it was only he's made himself into a woman that jolted me back to reality for a brief moment. And then I had Dougal Florence and the rest of them on the roundabout for the rest of the movie. This is terrible.
At the point where you're like, what, is this Carla Jean Wagner winning a bet? What the fuck?
Bet you can't get this into a script and broadcast on ITV on Saturday night. There's a monkey. Well, I think you'll find I can, actually.
So come in the big finale, when Mackie wheels Bartok into the airlock to fling her out into space, why did she need to go in there with her? I'm pretty fucking certain there'd be a button on the outside for that, as it's a designated airlock rather than just beating a hole in the wall. She's twisting a cast iron wheel.
Well, a cast iron wheel that's remarkably flimsy. It moves about a lot.
That's only because the rest of the base is made of cardboard, but yeah.
It's a cast iron wheel that you'd get free with a box of Frosties.
Is it the space spinner off the front of Eagle number 1, just painted black?
So, after the big reveal, we've still got 10 minutes of movie to go.
Ooh.
And they decide that Jane LaFontaire is now suspended on wires, sleeping in some anti-gravity pod. And for the first time in the whole film, the Russians speak Russian. They interview the murderer in Russian for a good 3 or 4 minutes, and the audience has no idea what's being said. Oh my titty fucking Christ, this is a dreadful... Who in the wildest nightmares? I can only assume that some director, they were having a bet. Who can smoke the most Benson and Hedges? And they'd got to 149, and then that's when they decided to start.
Well, who can smoke the most is obviously Georgina Hale. Have you heard her voice?
I have. Oh, you can't impersonate that voice. Teabag for the listeners at home. Yeah. Or the second Teabag.
The second Teabag. Yeah, nobody wants to impersonate that voice. It's the most annoying voice. There's that little inflection that she has when it belongs in Rocky Horror. The delivery belongs in Rocky Horror, her natural delivery.
Yeah, fair.
Imagine an elastic band being stretched over a piece of catgut and then dragged off by a 6-string guitar that's been badly tuned by a monkey with rickets and deformed broken fingers. That's Georgina Hale's voice.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's awful.
Ah! How dare you? What do you think I'm doing here? I'm rehearsing an opera. Will you kindly both vacate my stage?
That nasal up and down whine.
With a kind of Eartha Kitt-esque drawl to it. Well,
yes.
She's talking like that. And giving it every time she's talking. You want some whiskey for free? What?
Is she a gangster from the 1920s?
She is, the woman. What's all that about? No, I can't accept it. Absolutely not. We've mentioned Georgina Hill about 36 times, and it's only then when I've twigged. Yeah, the AS Teabag. Like when I mentioned it before, I didn't connect the two together. I've got her on. I can't read notes and things like that. I'm way too busy for that sort of thing. But there we are.
I think we're reaching the moment where we have to give final thoughts on this thing. And now, since you two are the guests here, it's pegged on the line time.
Oh, that's kind.
Well, I can't imagine where this little segment's going, but Blackout, I'll start with you.
I can tell you now, one of us is going to save money on the amount of pegs.
Well, I don't think there's many gypsies coming to the door with lucky heather and pegs that are going to be sold out at this point, are there?
Go on, Blackout.
Right, well, this is a bit like a sci-fi retooling of Agatha Christie's Tommy and Tuppence. If both Thomas and Tuppence were chronically uninteresting and just let the mystery largely solve itself around them, I do think there's a decent feature to be made from the setting and the core story idea here. This is not it. Murder on the Moon is sloppily written, hammily acted, appallingly directed and edited, but it's not even interesting enough to be truly awful. It's just badly made, and that's not the same. 3 out of 9.
I think that's remarkably kind. Dr. Exton.
Well, it's not good. It absolutely abuses a really good support cast and gives them nothing to do and no direction to do it with. It is glacially slow. The final denouement was offensive at the time and is fairly horrific looking back at it now. I'm struggling to think of a single positive thing about this other than the fact that it ends. 0.
Fair,
Sorry,
fair.
No, I'll give it 1 because some of the sets look quite good.
You're referring to the title sequence, Space 1999. That's what you want. Martin Landau, that's what you want.
Then watch Space 1999.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Don't watch this, kids. I'm not even going to pretend to polish this turd. I mean, writ large at the front of the set is Bridget Nielsen. A plank of wood so big you could nail Jesus to it. I hated every second of this. I quite literally fell asleep after half an hour. There's no redeeming features apart from bits of the set. The cast are woefully wasted. They don't even redeem themselves by attempting to put any feeling into this. The direction shit, the writing shit, the lighting shit, the film work shit, the video shit, the story shit, the resolution shit. It's 0 pegs, and I will never, ever... In fact, I'm deleting the file. No, dreadful stuff. Dr. Velvet, if you've got anything positive to say, now's your time to shine, but I'm not holding out any glimmer of hope that this is going to be anything above 0.
14 times. 14 times I looked at the clock in the first 10 minutes to see if this was near the end. Lunar-based tedium at its finest. This makes playing chess in a library feel like a drug-addled rave in Ibiza. Good God Almighty, what a slog to get through this. Some of the worst acting I've ever witnessed. With a plot with more filler in it than a cavity wall in Durham Cathedral, leading to a predictably unimaginative ending. I will sit on a fire pit drinking shots of petrol before I go near this again. No pegs. In fact, the pegs that I've got, I will attach them to a firecracker and blast that off to the fucking moon.
Oh, I love how I hated this the least and I don't give a shit about it.
Awful.
This was really
I just don't think it's deserving of my hatred, that's all. It's not even that good.
No, because if it was that bad, it would actually make it more entertaining.
That's what I mean, you know. I couldn't even get as fucking animated as you gentlemen about it. God bless you all.
So on that note, I will apologise on behalf of Dr. Exton, who has put us through this monumental slab of cow turd that's been shat out.
Yeah, his card's marked right now, Exton.
Yeah, that's been for years.
Any justification at this point, Dr. Exton?
Well, I remember it being better than this, and I didn't watch it before I suggested it.
That's fair. Anybody else feeling like a guinea pig at this point?
Well, Richard Gere might be.
On that note, it has been our pleasure once again, gentlemen, to have you aboard. Thank you very much. Where can we find you?
Usually in the pub, but failing that, peggyboutpod.com and all the usual outlets for your podcasts.
Thank you very much, and we would, as ever, heartily advise you all check them out. They're like us, but better produced and better researched. So until next time, thank you for staying the course with us, boys and girls. It's not been a pleasure, actually. It's been a fucking tedious eye scrape. But thank you for staying the course with us. We'll be back next time with something less painful. Ta-ta.
Bye now.
See ya.
Bye.
The Exton Moss experiment featured Simon Exton and Ken Moss. All featured soundtracks are the property of their respective producers, and no infringement of copyright is intended. Title music was performed by the BBC Symphony Orchestra, and the programme was produced by Maverick Productions. For more information, please visit maverickproductionsuk.blogspot.com or find us on social media.